Hailey Kilgore is an astonishing Broadway newcomer basking in her first Tony Award nomination for her leading role in the acclaimed revival of Once on This Island. Hear the 19-year-old stunner on which new Broadway friends make her fangirl, the play reading she did as a teen that changed everything, and how her whole young life led her to a performance as T. Moon on this week's Show People. Welcome, Hailey.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really well.
How are you holding up? You're a big fancy award nominee for like every award there is.
It's an honor, but also it's a good learning moment for me, staying grounded and centered.
Yeah.
So.
You know, you are the youngest guest I've ever had.
Oh, really?
So welcome. Yes.
Yay!
Yes. An actual teenager.
Yes.
An actual teenager. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You're 19.
19.
You're 19. And you were 18 when I met you. It's crazy.
Yes.
That's nuts that you're so young and so poised and so like, I don't know. I don't think of you that way.
Well, you know, I don't know about poised, but I'm trying. I try.
Are you one of those girls that your whole life people have said to you that you seemed a little more mature than your age?
Yeah, I've done lots of interviews at this point where they're like, I can't remember her age. She's somewhere in her early 20s.
Right.
And I'm like,
not yet.
no. But yeah.
So you're going to a lot of award shows as a nominee, which is the best way to go. And is that fun? Are you like are you able to enjoy it on top of doing the show? And I mean, it's a crazy time.
I mean, it's wild. There are multiple elements to it. I think the most like exciting element is I'm getting to meet all of the idols that I grew up loving.
Okay, who have you freaked out about meeting, or are you excited to meet, or?
Well, so when I was first cast in the show, Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS asked me to be a part of their Broadway Flea autograph table, and I was like, sure, no one knows who I am, but like, fine. And I actually ran into Bernadette Peters in the women's room, and I was like, she doesn't know who I am, like, and that's totally fine. I'm a speck of dust compared to Bernadette Peters, and I saw her. I got to see her again performing at the Easter Bonnet for Broadway Cares, and she remembered me.
See, now she
and I was like, I got to meet Andrew Garfield and Victor Garber,
wow, okay.
and that was amazing. It was amazing. So.
And do you keep your cool around these people, or are you just fangirl out, or are you just kind of like, hey, I'm Hailey, I'm Tony nominated?
I mean, you remember that they're people, they're
Yes.
human beings. Also, there's, I think, a really strong element of I have so much respect for them and respect for their work, and I know that, you know, these are people who are everywhere at once. I'm looking at my schedule, so I can't imagine what they're going through. Right. So I like to stay fairly calm. And then there's people like Taylor Louderman and Ashley Park, and I'm just like, every time I see them. But yeah, I like to just stay cool, mellow.
Yeah, that's good. So how's the show?
Fun.
You know, I
so
love this
fun.
show so much.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite shows. I love this production so much. I totally fell in love with it when you guys started. And I saw it again, like recently. I took my mom and dad because I wanted them to see it. And it is better than ever. How is it actually doing it and going to that place every night and having that sort of be the steady in your New York City life?
Yeah, I mean, there's such this energy, there's a spirit within this company that I'm so lucky that I get to just be a part of it. But it's also because our show is not as well known as most of the shows that are open right now. The fact that we have people who are coming in who have never experienced this story before, that's really exciting. And so you want them to feel, and also for my character, it's really about just telling the truth. I never felt the need to add a performing aspect to the character. I think just living and just being with her is the best.
You have such power in your entrance. I mean, you just look so, you're in it. What are you thinking like right before you hit the stage?
I'm thinking I'm very lucky because I get 2 entrances at the beginning of the show. And so my first entrance, I get to like, that's where I get all of my nerves out and like all of my nervous energy and my jitters. And then like my big entrance. Yeah. That's just like, I'm having fun. I also am so lucky in that I get to run past our little girl, whoever it is, whether it's Emerson or Mia. I'm watching them run around and make laps, and they're having a blast. So then I'm having a blast. It's a really strong starting point every show. Yeah.
And Waiting for Life is like such an amazing song.
It's an amazing song, and I'm running back and forth like a madman with like chunks of apple still in my throat, and but it still manages to come out, which is lovely.
How is the audience? Because, you know, I know you see them, you can't avoid them. Apparently you can't avoid bad behavior in the audience either,
Yeah.
correct? Tell me about that a little bit.
Like, the thing is the magical thing about what we do is people all of a sudden think that they've become invisible.
Right.
And that we're so in our world that we are in a very unique situation where not only are they around us, but they're also, we have audience members who are on stage with us, literally with their feet in the sand with us. And so it's just, you have to remember the rules.
What do you want people to know?
We can hear you. We can see you picking your nose. We can see you taking pictures. But we want people to be a part of the show, and we want people to be excited. Yeah, just like, as long as you're respectful and you're having a blast, we are having a blast with you. So, yeah.
I'm a big fan of Michael Arden, and he's your director, and he's a talented actor as well. So great to see what he's done to this show. But what did you sort of learn about this character from working with him and this production? The
most exciting thing about this whole process was seeing how excited Michael was. Hearing his story about how he got the revival to be. That was not an easy task for him to get Lynn and Steven to...
Yeah, he had to convince them about his vision.
So, you know, to have that first moment of spending time with him and getting to know Michael and getting to see how excited and how driven he was. He's so selfless, and he's really more focused on the truth of everything. You can have all of the beautiful ornaments and accessories and the incredible set and the gorgeous costumes and all of these beautiful elements that we've added through the show. But the thing about Michael is he wants to make sure that you see the truth, and he wants to make sure that the story is told. And I love that about him.
Are there any favorite moments or favorite directorial moments or visions that he sort of came up with?
Ooh, I remember we had like blocked a certain part of the show up until Timoon at the gates.
Okay.
And I remember that we were like running it, and all of a sudden like we kept going and we kept going and we kept going, and then all of a sudden the scene was over, and then OT Moon was over, and I was like, and so we all kind of like stopped, and Michael didn't say a thing. He gave us this like outline, and but then he kind of just let us do our own thing and let it turn into this magical thing, which is what we are doing in the show now.
Wow.
I think that was one of the most like, okay, so that's what everybody talks about when they say like genius, because he gave us this whole setup of Timoon and Daniel falling in love, of Timoon leaving her family, of Timoon building and gaining this community, and then that downfall. That was so cool. Wow. It was so cool.
We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Hailey Kilgore. We are back with Tony nominee Hailey Kilgore. You're gonna hear those words the rest of your life.
Oh my
Tony,
God.
you know what I mean? Like the word Tony is gonna be associated with you. I mean, that's amazing.
That's wild.
Look at that. So tell me about Happy Valley. How happy is it there?
Happy Valley. It's actually pretty happy.
Did you know that when you look on the Wikipedia page for Happy Valley, there's one notable person listed, and it's you.
Are you serious?
Yeah, totally.
I didn't know that. Yeah, it's a beautiful community of people. It's small enough that you know virtually everyone. Like I remember when I was in high school, like if I ever like did anything stupid, the lady at Safeway would be like, "Oh, I saw your mom this afternoon," and I'd be like, "Got it, great." But yeah, I'm very lucky that I grew up in a really cool place.
Yeah, and your family's still there.
Yeah.
Right. So then, when did you come along? You have a sister.
I do. I have a young sister, named Zakaya. I don't know. They wanted
19
to
years
adopt.
ago.
Yeah, 19 years ago, they wanted to adopt, and there I was. My mom got a phone call. I think I remember she had the new iPod alarm clock system that would play music when you wake up.
Right.
And Blackbird, the Beatles, came on, and she like woke up and she said, I was like, and she got a phone call, and it was from the agency, and they said, we have a little girl. She was just born. Would you be able to come and pick her up?
Wow. And
Blackbird is now, my nickname is Bird.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I have birds in my dressing room, in my bedroom. Yeah,
I love that.
That's my little thing. That and trees. Now trees is our thing too.
Wow,
so.
yeah, Timoon, hello.
Yeah.
Hello, that final moment in don't get me started.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so let's get into this. You seem like someone who has had a lot of great success at a young age.
Very lucky.
You
Yes.
seem very good at what you do.
Lucky enough.
And you started performing sort of young.
Yeah. 12 was my first
Okay.
professional show.
Were you like into Broadway? Were you listening to Broadway or watching it?
So my parents put theater into my life and storytelling into my life in a way that I was never like forced.
Okay, yeah.
So I actually didn't realize I was a quote unquote theater nerd until I was in high school and everybody was like,
right.
you're a thespian. Like, so I always had theater. I remember the one thing that always pops up in my mind is from the time I was about 6 years old, I was doing full-on productions of Sweeney Todd with my father in the living room, and he was Sweeney and I was everyone else.
Right. You actually did a production of Hairspray with your mom.
Yeah.
Right? Who were you?
I was Little Inez.
Little
I was
Inez,
Seaweed's sister.
$1 out of 50 cents.
And my mom was Prudy Pingleton.
She was
Penny's
Prudy.
mom.
Okay, Prudy. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Prudy, the neighborhood
So nice.
racist, basically.
Yeah, basically. who adopted a little black girl as her daughter.
Showbiz.
So that was a very good learning experience. Everything, I like to look at everything as a learning experience, but that was my first, I would go to school.
Yep.
And then there would be days where I would have to leave school, go to rehearsal, and then do a show at night.
And you started doing that a lot. Like you started balancing school, and then you
Yeah.
finally went to like more of a performing school.
I was in a public school like all of my high school career. My sophomore year of high school, I was asked completely out of the blue, to do a reading of a new show called PWP Perfect Works in Progress.
Is
by
this with Rodney Hicks? Okay.
Yes.
Of Broadway's original cast of Rent. Hello, hi Rodney.
Yes, and Come From Away.
I know.
Come From,
Full
like,
way, but
everything.
Rent is like golden.
Yes.
I'm just saying. Hi.
I was playing a transgender teenage boy.
Oh wow! Yeah, I
who
read
was-
this.
Yeah, who was like 16 years old. I was like 14, and so I remember being like, sure. I had never been like a serious straight play actor.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know anything, but sure. And I dove headfirst
Wow.
into research, into I wanted to be this character. And so I used everything that I knew, and I did this reading, and I remember I got a call a week after the reading from Rose Reardon, who was a director at Portland Center Stage, and she said, we need a new Rebecca Gibbs. We're already in rehearsals, you'd have to come in and start rehearsals today. My whole life changed. I went into the theater, I signed up for that show. I was signed on to a musical called Ain't Misbehavin', and so that was bear your head down, do your work, do the show. And by the time I was done with those shows, I was getting ready to graduate a year early from high school. So I would go to community college in the morning, be in rehearsals for one show, do schoolwork while I was in rehearsals, and then do the other show at night.
Wow.
And then get up and do it all over again. So lots of responsibility. The first thing that happened was my dad was like, so you're getting your driver's license. I know we said that was not going to be a serious thing, but so yeah.
Because you had so many
Lots of
places to
growing
be.
up happened, yeah.
Yeah. If you didn't have such an interesting play to work on that Rodney wrote, that it's almost like you had to take acting really seriously, and you really were able to dig into something in a mature way.
Yeah. Basically, I had Rodney, Kevin Jones, Chantal de Groot, Russell Hornsby, to name a few people who really stepped up and mentored and instructed me in theater and in acting. And I had my father and my mother. My dad was actually a theater professor when I was really young. So I was in a pretty good space. But I was not your average child actor.
Right.
Most of them, this is what they were groomed to do.
Right. That's why you're so interesting.
And then here I am in New York City,
I know.
that same year in college.
It's nuts.
I got accepted into college a month and a half after I finished Ain't Misbehavin'.
Wow. There's so much more to say. We'll be right back with more Hailey Kilgore. Hey, look, we're back, and it's still Hailey Kilgore, still sitting here.
Still here.
Still here.
She made it.
Yeah, so can we talk about your pageant life? I feel like you just had to act very, very mature really early.
Yes, that was expected, but also it's like the reason why I was entered into pageants was because there was really nothing for a young girl like me to be able to showcase my talent and explore my singing.
Okay, like Millie. Did you actually sing Thoroughly Matter Millie?
Yeah.
What'd you sing? Not for the life of me?
Not for the life of me. Yeah. So I started at the age of 9.
Okay.
I think in 4th grade, and it was really my mom entered me so she could enter me into the talent competition, so I could sing in front of people. I sang "There's a Hero" by Billy Gilman.
Okay.
Wow.
And
And I won talent, and then I got 2nd place overall.
okay.
And we were like,
I love that face.
what? Because like literally it was like, we are going so that she can sing in front of people. Like the people that would come in to judge the pageant were like talent executives and like agencies, and then I did it again and I won.
Okay.
So then I had the responsibility of being National American Miss Oregon preteen.
You've been so well-rounded. I'm telling you, you have so much experience.
Just, you know, while it is like pretty and like you see like the beautiful elements of it, I was also introduced to a lot of real world stuff.
Yeah.
It definitely gave me my passion for like helping others, which kind of goes into, for me, it goes into what theater is about for me, which is it's serving other people. It's not about you.
See how all this is being channeled into Once on This Island and Timoon.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it makes sense. There's so much happening in your performance.
That's also how I started singing the national anthem for the NBA.
Oh, wow.
And MLB and national soccer.
You're a busy girl.
I was pretty busy.
But what were you doing when you were just like chilling out with friends, not doing all of this, not being amazing?
Well, my dad's a geocacher, so we would go geocaching a lot. So that was really fun. Lots of camping trips.
Okay.
What else? We did like a lot of cool stuff. We were a foster family for a while, so I would also stay at home and babysit my foster brother. Ooh, we would have Friday movie nights, and Wednesday nights after school every night we would watch Jennifer Love Hewitt in Ghost Whisperer.
Oh.
That was like our thing.
That's the go-to?
Yeah, so we did lots of cool stuff.
What are you not good at?
Oh, a lot of things.
Okay, tell me some of the things you're really sloppy at. I want people to like you.
I have a nonverbal learning disorder, so I'm horrible at math.
Okay.
And science.
I read you had a learning disorder when you were young.
Yeah.
So
that
math
made
is
school
not
very hard.
Great.
Actually, in 5th grade, my teacher sat us down and told me that I might not graduate from high school, and that I should try to find something else to do. So that tells you about how horrible I am at math. But I love science. I was actually the 2nd fastest reader.
Who's the first? Who's the fastest reader?
Oh, Ethan Kang. And Ethan Kang was good at everything. He was the kid that was like in the 6th grade math class. He was in our school plays.
Oh.
He did everything. What else am I like not good at? Oh, I'm a horrible dancer. I'm a horrible dancer.
You dance in the show. Timoon actually has a big dance. That's a big part of the plot.
Yeah.
You look amazing up there, but that's you're just being led.
That's
Camille
Clint
Brown
and Camille. Yeah.
Okay. How was Ariana Grande? I heard you met her. I know you're obsessed, right?
Yes, I did. I got to meet Ariana Grande. She was doing a concert at Radio City. And I love her.
And she knew who you were.
We know each other through a friend named Doug Middlebrook. And he's a beautiful human being. And so he brought me along, and I guess he had mentioned my Tony nomination, and everyone in the room, they were so lovely and so kind, and all of the dogs were there. Toulouse was there. So it was like, I love her even more now because she's just a beautiful person. Very selfless and very creative. She's very creative. She knows what she wants. And so yeah, it was cool to meet her and to see her process a little bit. That was very cool.
Yeah, because she's a great role model, and you must think about that a lot too. Like when you meet a lot of people now at Stage Door and people at the show, like, and I'm sure they all want to be you. They all want this to happen to them. Which
is so strange because I'm literally the most average, most typical person you will ever meet. It's really cool that I'm someone who girls look at and look to for help. Something that like I like to let people know all the time is like they can always reach out to me on social media. But yeah, it's really cool. I'm very lucky. I'm very, very lucky. This was not easy. It was not. I was not just in the show.
Right.
And we have some incredible people who are a part of our show and who are in our show.
I think you've risen up to the challenge beautifully.
Thank you.
Honestly, I remember when they cast you, I was like, I don't know her. I'm excited.
I don't know her.
I don't know her. What do you want to do after this? I mean, there's so many things, right?
I want to do everything.
Everything.
My dream is to work with Kenny Leon.
Oh,
or
didn't you do something with him?
The August Wilson monologue competition. Yeah. Must do a show with Condola Rashad.
Oh.
I must. And it's so interesting because we had a shoot together. We had a Vogue shoot together, and it was so lovely to like actually see her. And then she came to the show, and I love her. I want to do everything, and I don't want to limit myself.
Well, the first thing you have to do is go to the Tony Awards.
Yes.
As a
Tony
fellow
Awards.
nominee to Condola Rashad, you're both Tony nominees.
I know.
Crazy.
I know.
The
I don't
company
know how
you
I ended
keep
up in
now.
that. I know. I don't know how I ended up in that group. I'm being 110% serious with you. I have no idea. Because that group of women is like Jessie Mueller. Okay. So, fun fact. Charity Dawson, who played Becky in Waitress on Broadway, she was the first official replacement after Keala. I was still in school, and Charity would, she has been a mentor to me since I was very, very young. And I would go to the Brooks Atkinson in between classes, and I would spend time with Charity, and Jessie Mueller would come in, and she'd be like, "Hi, I'm Jessie," and like she would just like hang, and just like she has like she would have no idea that she did that, but like for me, like that was like a big deal. And LaShawne's obviously. Taylor Louderman, who like Bring It On when I was still in high school, and like, yes, Broadway. Yeah, it's wow. This is a category of incredibly talented women.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're on that list. You earned your spot on that list, so
Thank
don't
you.
you forget that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming in.
Of course,
It's
Paul.
been so much fun to watch you over this whole season. Watch this all happen to you, honestly.
Thank you for
It's
having
so
me.
well deserved. And I can't wait to see you on the Tony Awards and to cheer you on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming by. Everyone, check out Once on This Island at the Circle in the Square Theater. You're going to love it. You might cry.
Oh.
They're going to cry. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.